You know, it looked like something out of a horror movie.
It was getting out of hand.
You can run, you can't hide.
Do you know how a Hells Angel biker became one of Australia's most notorious cocaine kingpins? Angelo Pandeli's journey from a hardened criminal in a notorious biker gang to running a massive drug empire is a story of ambition, power, and the dark underworld of organized crime. His rise to the top of Australia's drug trade involved violence, betrayal, and millions in profits, all while staying under the radar of law enforcement for years. Gangs have always been a theme in pop culture, but none has received as much attention as the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. As portrayed in TV series and movies, these bikers represent rebels, freedom fighters, and sometimes a menace, just like the New York Mafia in Crime Glory. But there is also a grim solidity to the tale of Angelo Pandeli, who became one of the most significant players in the Australian Gangland War, and was often directed to for inspiration. It was not just about bikes, brotherhood, bar fights, and most importantly about bikes, but it was about cocaine, powers, and international business that placed him firmly in the heart of Australia's drug trade. But Angelo Pandeli was not always destined for that, to become a cocaine kingpin, of course. Living in Australia, Pandeli was born to Turkish immigrant parents who owned a series of pubs, thus getting him acquainted with the realities in the business world, as well as the underlying criminal world. In his teenage years, working for his family's enterprises, an unnamed character interacts with various actors of the shadow economy, and thus, a brief experience of power and authority outside the framework of law. This environment probably sowed the first seed of developing a keen interest in the criminal world that would characterize his life later on. But the man only reached new levels of criminality when he was influenced by bikers. The factors that led him to become eager to join a motorcycle club include the freedom they offer, thrill and rebellious spirit of the young man. It was the Hells Angels in particular which interested him. The Angels were a gang that not only represented the lifestyle he wanted to lead, but was also a powerful player in the organized crime scene in Australia. It was here, almost at the outskirts of the respectable society, that Pandeli envisioned his life. His dreams were far beyond regular employment or a simple and peaceful existence. He wanted status, authority, and money. Pandeli's big break came when he met John Pike, a dominant figure in Adelaide's biker scene. Pike, a seasoned member of the Hells Angels, took an interest in the eager young man, offering him a job as a nightclub bouncer. This position gave Pandeli his first real taste of the Hells Angels operations and an inside look at how the gang functioned, from its hierarchy to its criminal activities. Pandeli quickly proved himself useful, leveraging the people skills he'd honed while working in his parents' pubs to form connections and rise within the gang. Pike saw potential in Pandeli, taking him under his wing and introducing him to the deeper workings of the Hells Angels. Pandeli's loyalty, combined with his keen understanding of business and people, allowed him to climb the ranks rapidly. By the mid-2000s, he had become a well-respected figure within the gang, known for his sharp mind and ability to handle complex operations. His leadership was soon felt far beyond Adelaide, as he expanded his influence to Sydney, where he took control of the Hells Angels chapter and, with it, a significant share of the country's illegal drug trade. It was in Sydney that Pandeli truly made his mark on Australia's underworld. As the head of the Hells Angels in one of the country's largest cities, he was able to consolidate power and grow the gang's influence in organized crime, particularly in the distribution of cocaine. His operations were highly strategic, utilizing a vast network of connections across Australia to flood the market with drugs, earning him a reputation as one of the most formidable figures in the Australian criminal landscape. Pandeli's success wasn't limited to his home country. In one of his most significant moves, he aligned himself with the Kinahan drug cartel, an infamous crime syndicate based in Ireland with deep connections in the global drug trade. Together, they orchestrated the smuggling of massive quantities of cocaine from Colombia to Europe, using Ireland as a distribution hub. This partnership not only allowed Pandeli to strengthen his hold on the Australian market, but also gave him access to a global network of resources, effectively turning him into a cocaine kingpin with reach far beyond his own country. Despite being one of the most wanted men in Australia, Pandeli managed to evade law enforcement for years. For over a decade, he was under constant surveillance by the Australian Federal Police, AFP, who monitored his every move, hoping to catch him slipping up. Yet, he continued to expand his empire, operating from the relative safety of Dubai, where he conducted his business while staying one step ahead of the authorities. His ability to remain elusive, even as law enforcement closed in, only added to his notorious reputation. Pandeli's rise to the top of Australia's cocaine trade is a story of ambition, alliances, and an unrelenting drive for power. From his early days working in his family's pubs to his leadership of one of the world's most feared biker gangs, Pandeli's journey reflects the darker side of the criminal underworld, where violence, betrayal, and global drug operations intersect. Today, he remains one of the most wanted men in Australia, a figure whose legacy is marked by his ability to navigate the shadows, staying just out of reach of the law while continuing to influence the country's organized crime scene. Pandeli pleaded guilty to the tax offense, but avoided penalties due to an explanation from his accountant, who claimed a software error caused the oversight. Following this narrow escape, Pandeli relocated to Dubai to continue his criminal operations from afar, out of reach of Australian law enforcement. Dubai, with its reputation as a haven for international criminals seeking to avoid extradition, was the perfect refuge for Pandeli. From there, he formed a lucrative alliance with the notorious Kingpin cartel, a criminal organization with operations spanning Ireland, the UK, Spain, and the UAE. Together, they significantly impacted the global cocaine market, with Pandeli's Hells Angels network acting as the distribution channel for cocaine entering Australia. Despite law enforcement's efforts, including sanctions by American and UAE authorities against the Kingpin cartel, Pandeli remains at large. His vast empire continues to thrive as he leverages safe havens like Dubai, Greece, Turkey, and Thailand, countries with extradition laws that make it difficult for international authorities to bring him to justice. Angelo Pandeli's rise to power and continued evasion of justice serve as a stark reminder of how elusive and complex the world of organized crime has become. Despite efforts from law enforcement, his strategic moves, alliances, and ability to exploit international loopholes allow him to thrive. As authorities keep a close watch, the question remains: will he ever be brought to justice? Stay tuned as this story unfolds. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated on more gripping crime stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out.